everybody, it's Ivy at Old Magic Ways, and today we have Katrina with us. Hey Katrina.
Hello everybody, how are you?
So for those of you who don't know, Katrina is our Reiki master here at Old Magic Ways. Can you do a brief description of what Reiki is? I love when I put her on the spot. I do this almost every time we're online.
So Reiki is a form of energy healing. It is a way to rebalance, refocus your body, and helps your body heal itself naturally.
So I think there's so much more that we can talk about with Reiki that we will make sure, even if on a gathering night we don't discuss it, I really think it would be worthwhile, since we just discussed it recently at one of our gatherings. I think we should do this as after the gathering. So if you all are interested in learning more about Reiki without going through the class, please let us know when you are on here and watching this. Let us know that it's wanted, and we'll make sure we add that to it, one of our next ones. But a couple of things just to let you know what we've got going on if this is your first time. Last week we did our very first After the Gathering. What the After the Gathering is a 30-minute live recap of what we've discussed at the gathering. Would you like to share what the gathering is?
For tonight?
Yes.
Okay, so tonight we talked about signs and synchronicity.
You like that word, don't you?
I do.
So just to let you know, if you're watching and haven't been here, if this is your first time, our gatherings are every Wednesday from 7 to 9 o'clock. And it's a group of like-minded people getting together. This week we had about 55 again, I believe, was the count, as it was last week. And what we do is we discuss the topic. And it's not just myself or Katrina leading or speaking and teaching. We really get it where that's community-based, so we all can continue our growth on this journey. So as Katrina said, we had signs and synchronicity. What did you think about that?
It was interesting. I've always wanted to learn more about symbols and what is out there and what their meanings are. And so it was nice to hear other people's perspectives.
So one of the things last week we talked about dreams, and some of the names that we brought up were Carl Jung. We brought up Edgar Cayce, Freud. All of them had dreams, and this really continued back into that because, again, Carl Jung's name comes back up. And do you remember what synchronicity actually he defined it as?
Something coincidence. Meaningful coincidence.
Don't mind, we do have a note board in front, so in case we forget what everybody talked about. But he defined it as meaningful coincidence. How would you describe, what do you think? Do you think coincidence is synchronicity, synchronicity is coincidence? How did you take that?
I think there's a lot of synchronicity, but people dumb it down to coincidences.
That's actually a really good way. I think one of the ways that Denise, who comes and visits, if you're watching, hi Denise, I think she said it was coordinated incidents is the way she looked at it. And I thought that was a really interesting way. But synchronicity really is, it's all those things falling into place at that time to allow whatever is meant to be to happen. It's putting things into place, would you say?
Yes, definitely.
So I talked a couple of different ways that we talked about synchronicity is how it comes to us. Some might be in consecutive numbers. People talk about angel numbers all the time. Have you ever heard of 1111? I know most of you out there have. What numbers do you see on the clock a lot?
333.
We got people over there. So 333. Mine is 123. My birthday is 123. I see 123 on the phone. 777.
Yeah, not on the clock, but that number pops up a lot.
So if you're ever seeing those numbers consecutively, I happen to look at a number of different sites. I look at sun signs. I look at Joanne's sacred numbers. I think Doreen Virchow has some angel numbers. There's so many different ways, again. But the one thing that's interesting was one of our customers that come in, I hate to use the word customer, but when they come in, when I said, "Ooh, I saw 444," she was like, "Oh, that's bad news." I'm like, "No, it's not. It means protection." You know, we talk about anytime you're on this journey, the things you experience versus the things I experience are going to be very, very different based on our ancestors, based on the way we grew up, based on different parts in our life. And so just because I see 444 as good and she sees 444 as a warning does not mean either one of them are right or wrong. They're right for me, they're right for her, but they still have, you know, special meanings. It's the whole point of pay attention to those signs. Like I said, 1, 2, 3 is my number. I mean, anything that's usually happened really good for me is at 12:30. I follow the Morrigan, and with my sisters, I went through my initiation on 12:30 of December 30th this past year. So it's those things. What are do you remember other ways of symbols and signs?
Animals.
Okay, what's your favorite one?
I like the dragonfly.
What did you take from that it meant?
Well, somebody said that it was transition. And when I see the most is when something is happening differently in my life. Like when we last moved into our new place, dragonflies were all around our house for about 2 to 3 weeks.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. I think we are focused on birds a lot. I see ravens and crows all the time. Again, another one of our customers that come in for the gathering, they were like, "Whoa, that's an omen." To me, I'm like, "Woohoo, that's awesome." I see it because Odin and Morrigan, Freya, they all have ravens around them. And so to me, those are good. Those are symbols for my gods or my goddess. So I look at them differently, but for some people to see an owl, I think it's in the Native American, and I could be wrong, so if I am, I apologize. They look at owls more as a symbol of death, where in other areas, they look at the owl as the symbol of wisdom. So even though they might have very different meanings, it's really important to look them up and figure out which one resonates and which one applies to what is happening to you at that time. And then, again, I reiterate in this, if you've been going your whole life thinking that an owl is an omen, take it as such. If you look at it that the owl is wise, take it as such. Just because Carl Jung or Freud or somebody else said it should be a certain way doesn't mean it is. Only you are walking on your journey, and only you are walking that path. You know what resonates for you. You know what fits. The other thing I will tell you, I guess to go back to synchronicity is, let's look at how does synchronicity work. Okay, I always talk about, coming here. Our goal wasn't to come back to the inlet. We actually, we're in Rose Inlet, South Carolina, for those of you who aren't local. Our goal was actually to look at maybe Southport or Georgetown, believe it or not. We had lived in the inlet. We were okay with not coming back. And the day we found the building was the same day my dad had contacted us about he was thinking about going back to New York. And all of a sudden, his house would be open. And then we knew that if I still had a job previously where I was, and there were layoffs being done. And so we said, okay, if we could get this and this, then maybe we would put our hand in, and see what we could come up with. And the very next day, I was notified that I was being laid off. So all those things happened all at one time. Granted, we manifested it by putting out our wishes, kind of like we've talked about the law of attraction. We manifest those things. But realistically, synchronicity started happening. It's being at the right time, at the right place for the message to be delivered. Any questions on that, do you think?
No. Anybody asking questions? Not yet.
Okay, so another thing to try to do, other ways we can talk about signs, colors. We started to talk a little bit about colors last week when we talked about red meaning soon in dreams. One of the things we want to talk about, though, is all colors have a little bit, For me, red is passion, creativity.
What is green?
Green?
Yeah.
For me, I love green for healing. I mean, I look at it a couple of different ways. Not only is green a healing, but it connects me with Archangel Raphael. So if we have somebody that is under the weather, somebody is not feeling good. My son, at one point in time, we light a candle, we ask upon Archangel Raphael. To me, that is his color. So immediately, as Archangel Raphael is over healing, that's the green that I use. So that is for me. How does it make it feel to you?
I don't know. I was just asking that because I had a dream with the Green Lantern. That's the only part of the dream that I remember was
the Green Lantern, as in the
superhero Green Lantern.
Yes,
I'm just.
So I will say, some people will tell you green means, the healing, but green also is very earth-based. A lot of people will look at green as an earth-based thing. What about blue? What's your feeling on blue? Everybody had a little bit different on blue.
Blue reminds me of water, ocean.
And to me, that's fluidity.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say, fluidity. Yes.
And intuition. But the one thing I want to remind you, my Reiki master, is blue is also that throat chakra. So yes, it's the intuition and our third eye working and our solar plexus, but it's also about our voice. So there was somebody that was talking tonight about the blue actually for communication, which I thought was really interesting.
Margie Justice said it was calming.
Oh, so we had somebody else come up and just tell us that blue to them was calming. Thank you, Margie. We appreciate that. See, this is why we've got other people watching it here too, so they can let us know. Colors, yellow. To me, yellow is that happy color. It is the color of the sun.
Thank you.
See, that's why
I'm happy.
Absolutely. The other thing is to remember, one of the things what is the most common type of symbols and signs that we look for within ourselves? Okay, so I'm going to just say this. So some of the signs that we look at, think about when you're sick, your body.
There you go.
You're the Reiki master, you know this. So if you're starting, it's really one thing. I think this is where we talk about paying attention to those signs. It's really feeling your own body, knowing your body well enough to know what does that mean. And feeling, do you feel like you're starting, mine is, if my lower back is hurting, I realize that means that there are some foundational issues I have. If my neck is hurting, you know what, I might be stretched a little too thin. I start listening to those signs and symbols within my own body.
Shoulders, you feel like the weight of the world, the burden.
Your stomach, digestive issues, you can't stomach something. So again, it's listening to the signs in your body. Now let's take it a step further. Let's take those signs that we actually are seeing outside. You think of a really great thought, or you're just kind of thinking of what you think is a passing thought, and you see an owl. Well, maybe it is the sign of wisdom. You're onto something. So try to remember. It goes back to even in numbers like that, 1111. We hear, everybody knows 1111. That is that manifestation number. Be careful of what you think of, because your thoughts can easily manifest. So when I see 1111, I'm like, ooh, it's 1111. Think good thoughts, think good thoughts, think good thoughts. We do all the time. And I think you and I even kind of laugh on that. 333, connection of mind, body, and spirit. 444, we've talked about that, protective, or on other people's case, it means, uh-oh, watch out. So let's mix those two together. Uh-oh, watch out, you're protected. I like that. 555 is, usually that means there is some sort of disruption coming in your family life. I'm going to tell you, for the longest time when I would see 5:55 a.m. or 5:55 p.m., I would get really upset. Oh crap, there is going to be some sort of disruption in my family. Let's go back to law of manifestation. We always talk about it. What happens when we think negative?
Negative is going to happen.
So if at 5:55 I'm like, oh crap, there's something going to happen within my family, and it's in a negative way, it is going to be. So instead, how about let's think, my son's going to college, my other son has a play, my other son just got 90s on half of his classes where we were worried about. Let's look at those kind of things. And I think those are really, really important things. So I've got somebody with a board writing down some questions that some people have. And I don't want us to go too far off of the colors. What were we talking about with colors?
Colors speak to you.
Is that a question? Do they speak to you?
It was written as colors speak to you.
So colors speak to you. I will tell you this much. I feel colors. Some people feel them, some people don't. That's why some people's bedrooms, when kids wanted to paint their room black, was it because it's just a hard color to paint over? Actually, the darker colors are easier to paint over. I think it just has that very odd feeling to it. To me, black is a color of protection, but it also is a depressive color. They say one of the worst colors to ever paint a bedroom is orange because of how bright it is.
Bright, yeah.
But, so I will say, I think Austin asked a question about the number 666. I'm going to tell you this much. I'm actually going to look in this book for you.
What book is it?
It is Doreen Virtue's Angel Numbers 101. 666, your thoughts are too focused on material illusions. Raise your thoughts spiritually to get life back on track.
Misha's watching.
Hey Misha, we see that you're watching too. Everybody here is saying hello and we miss you and we can't wait to see you. The one thing I want to tell you about the angel numbers, especially when it comes to 666, we've heard over and over our whole life that 666 was the sign of the devil. Again, that is something that we need to be careful of. That's not the true meaning of that. Remember, sometimes what we are told at some point are misinformation, a little bit of difference of opinions on things. Educate yourself. I really do highly suggest go on, get a book when it comes to the numbers, the angel numbers. Is there any other angel numbers out there people are asking about right now?
1111, 1212, 222, 323.
Okay, so 333, mind, body, and spirit. 222, I have to look at because I'm not even sure. I don't ever see 222. So that honestly is trust that everything is working out exactly as it's supposed to. One of the things, though, I will say with 1111 and 1212, when we start to move forward in those, is they're as we're going up higher on those, they're doubling, so they are multiplying. So they're what were you gonna say?
33, like 12, 12, 33.
So they're becoming stronger. So look up the numbers for 12, then multiply it. One of the things, there are signs everywhere. There are signs from our ancestors, our angels, our archangels, our spirit guides, and they really, truly are here to help us grow on our path. The one thing is, though, unless you see and are open to feeling the signs, seeing the signs, they're all over the place. You have to be the one willing to accept. If a friend of mine, if I look at it and say, look, it's 333, and they're like, yeah, what does that mean? What does 333 mean? That doesn't mean anything. Then guess what? It doesn't mean anything for them. Just because we've seen it for them doesn't mean it's a message that's to be embraced. There are a lot of times that messages are just meant for the person who is meant to get them. Does that make sense?
Yes. Well, that was like what I said earlier. Me understanding, I can see stuff, but just like you see things and have a definition, have an interpretation of what you're seeing. And to me, it's like, oh, okay. I just, because I don't know.
And yeah.
Eventually, yes, I'm open to it and I'm learning, but it's still a process.
So one of the things I will also say, though, no matter how long you've been in the spiritual world or been learning, you made a comment today of, I feel like I don't see the signs, and you said, no, I see them, I just don't know what they are.
Yeah.
It's always good to always ask. Find somebody that you can talk to, that you can share with, because I don't care if we've been practicing for 30 years or we've been practicing for 30 seconds. We all need to always remember those basics and go back to the basics. And don't think you're going to memorize every number in here and know what they are. I know the numbers that come to me quite often. That's why I'm able to say them. But the numbers that I don't know. I have to look up, and it's okay. There's going to be times that I'm going to come to you and say, okay, Katrina, I've had these 2 really weird things happen to me. What do you see out of it? And you may have a very different view. And if I can't figure that out, I may ask you, and I may ask her, and I may ask him and her, and try to get a full round view. Ultimately, I have to find what is best for me,
Right.
and what resonates. Anyone have any questions right at the moment?
Not yet, just,
Ebony made a comment that 1111 meant it was the gateway to her.
Okay. Hi, Ebony. Thank you for commenting on there. We miss you. We can't wait to see you, lioness. Ebony is sharing that 1111 is the gateway for her. Again, let's see just for fun what it's saying in this book. If she has it, it doesn't go to
it's just
1111.
11.
It does 11.
Yep.
So to
Would it
me,
be 22?
to
No.
me, 1111 is manifestation is at its highest. It is where it is at its strongest, and it's the higher vibration. So we're going to go ahead and see if there's any questions or anybody. Where are you all watching from today? So I will say this. Last week I want to thank everybody. We had 1,700 views on our Facebook Live. This one might be a little scary. We've kind of stuttered a little bit. The gathering ran a little late, so we had 5 minutes to really prepare. But we had 1,700 views last week, and that is all your work out there. So we want to thank you so much for sharing the posts and helping bring us to those who are, your family, your friends, those who are not here in the area. And we really do want to hear your voices, topics of conversations that you'd like to see discussed, questions you have, where you're from. I thought it was great. We had a call from the Bahamas today. So I want to say hi out there to D'Angelo, Dawn, Connie,
Jenny, who's from Syracuse.
oh, my sister-in-law is
Jackie.
on there. Hey, Jenny. Hey, Jackie. I see you out there, too.
Lynn from Westminster.
Hello, Leanne from Westminster.
Lynn.
Lynn from Westminster, sorry. Hi.
Or
But,
Emma.
or, hey, other mom, that way, too. That works. But I do want to tell you all that this is going to be a wonderful new project for the community. I appreciate you all working with us as we are, working through the little tweaks. Each week we expect it to get better. But again, we want to make sure we're giving all the information that is community-based and not just information that myself or Katrina or when Rain's here that he even sees. But I have to, before we even close out here today, I have to tell you, we were gifted this amazing angel painting, and I wish we had it here to show. And it was Sandra from Soul Weaver. She's here local. She is an artist who who does spirit art, and her work is amazing. And today she donated 2 paintings, actually. One was to be gifted to somebody, and Amy, who comes in, she was gifted that. But we did a drawing for the other one, and we had a winner named Lana. So we want to thank Sandra. One of the things I would like to do maybe next week too is find out if we can do a giveaway with all the people that are in here that come or that are on the Facebook Live. We'd like to really do some sort of giveaway. We'll get all those details, but it'll be something cool. Misha has a question, of course. Hi, Misha. Do you believe that angel numbers correlate to numerology? I believe they all, in all weird universal way, they all end up correlating and working together. I feel like angel numbers to me are my angels communicating. I look at that, me personally, as how they communicate. Yet, numerology is such a parallel road. I think they kind of intermix, but I almost look at, for me, this doesn't mean it's correct by any means. I look for me as when I see certain numbers come up, it's my angels, it's my guardian angels speaking to me directly. Numerology, I started going into numerology. My birthday, it means, and my name means that I'm a number 8, okay? In the tarot, it means strength. If we're to look up what 8 means in an angel number, I guess this is the best way to do it. Abundance and prosperity, the endless loop in the number signifies an infinite flow of money, times, idea, or whatever else you require. So, do I think they relate? I do think there is a parallel, but I do think there are some nuances to each of those. Does that clear the mud up a little bit, or just make it muddier? I think we have another question.
Yeah.
Oh, Sandra said, thank you for allowing me to share my art. Sandra, thank you so much for gifting that. The 2 women today, it meant a lot too. I'm looking forward to next week when we have a giveaway for all those that are enjoying the Facebook Live. I think it'll be a great opportunity for people to really put in. Maybe we'll have to see if Sandra wants to do another art piece. I'm just teasing. We've been wonderfully blessed by that. I hope that this was enjoyable. I appreciate the time that you all are taking to not only be a part of us here in the shop, but as well as taking time from your busy schedule to fit us in. Again, we ask that, if they have any questions, any thoughts, any subject ideas, to reach out. Even if we've talked about at the gathering, we can do a little bit different if we need to, because I do think there's some of the conversation topics that we've had that those people out in Facebook Live land might want to get some information on.
What we were discussing with the kids?
A couple of different ideas too that we have come up with, and this might be a really cool one for a Facebook Live event, is doing it kind of jointly. We're looking at doing an event here at the shop where it's Mother's Day out, or Father's Day out, or Parents' Day out, however we want to, but it's to bring their children in here, and maybe a really good opportunity to try to see if we could maybe correlate this online with the seminar. It would be a free event, it would be a workshop, but we can teach kids, parents come in with them and they can learn what energy is, and that's all you, girl. That's all you. We can talk about herbs. We can talk about the archangels. We can talk and give them a baseline.
Dream pillows. You can make dream pillows.
I like the idea of dream pillows.
Yeah.
Dream pillows
There
would
you
be
go.
great.
Yeah.
So we'll keep some of these ideas that we have. We want to make it so even whether you are here local, or if you live on the other side of the country, or as Zelda in the Bahamas has called us today, hey Zelda. But if, even in the Bahamas, that you can be a part of this and help to grow in your spirituality and help your children to grow as well. We are just one of many resources at your fingertips. So please know we are here at any time that you need us. Many blessings to each of you, and wish you a very happy and safe week.
Goodbye.
Bye.